Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome if you're new, and in this week's video I'm going to talk about books. The last few months I've read 20 books so far. For me that's not a lot, but if you've seen my previous video, the last month, March, has been a bit crazy for me. I've experienced grief for the first time, so I was focused on something else for the month of March. But it doesn't mean I haven't read any books. This year so far, it's now the 2nd of April. This year so far I have read 20 books, and in February and March I've read 12 books. So I'm gonna talk to you about all the books I've read, my opinions, the reviews I gave, and I have a little book haul because I treated myself to some new books. So let's get started. So in February I started with Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood. It's a 4.5 stars for me, and I think that's quite good. To be honest, maybe I will bump it down to 4 stars because I haven't thought about it for a while. But the book is about a girl who's diving and a guy who's swimming, and it's a contemporary sports romance. And normally, I love sports romances always, but I've never read a diving and swimming sports romance before. So I think that was quite a nice new perspective. That's why I really liked it. It was built up a bit differently than normally. It was quite adult. There was some spy scenes in there, so please keep that in mind. But I like the spice, I like the way it was written. The plot was very nice. The character development was also very good, and I loved that about a book. So yeah, Deep End was a 4.5 star for me. Then I did a reread of one of my favorite books, Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I've read this book, I think at the end of 2023 or the beginning of 2024. And back then I gave it 5 stars. And for the reread, I gave it 5 stars again. Because my goodness, this book is so good. It's a young adult romantasy. If you ask me, it's not that young adult. I think I would say it's romantasy but closed door, so no spy scenes. But it's so well written. Guy is like a poet. The ways he describes his favorite color, if you know, you know. It's just such a good book. It's Hunger Games meets romantasy, meets such a lovely guy, meets a girl who's like independent and a strong woman. And I love that about a book, if the woman is, or the girl in this sentence, is very strong and dedicated and can handle herself. I love that about a book. So this reread is a 5 stars. As you can see, I have annotated quite a bit. The pinks are from the last time and the blues are new ones from our reread. I really liked it again. I loved being back in this world. I reread Powerless because I hadn't read Powerful or Reckless. And I know that's strange because Powerless was one of my favorite books. But a lot of people gave very bad reviews about Reckless, so I put it off for quite a long time. And I was like, now is the time. So in February I read Powerful. This is a novella between the first and the second book in the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. And it was a very good novella. For me, I don't give novellas that high of a rating. But it was a 3.75 stars for me. I really liked it. I love being in the mind of Adina. It was very well written. I read it very fast. It's not that many pages. I think it's, how much is it? 325 or something? No, not even. 243. So for me, that's perfect. I love the novella. It was very well written. It was nice to be in her head. I don't think I can say anything more. If you know, you know. And then finally I read the second book in the series, Reckless by Lauren Roberts. It was a good book, but it was not my favorite. I was expecting more of it, and I think that was the general review of this book, and that's why I didn't pick it up earlier. I gave it a 3.75 stars, I think. Yeah, 3.75. Again, it's a young adult romantasy. It wasn't as good as the first book. It was a bit chaotic. Some things I didn't get at all. Some things went way too fast for me. Some things were like not explained enough or written well enough. And Lauren Roberts is talented, don't get me wrong. You can see that she's a talented writer because that comes out of this book quite easily. But it was just not my fave. It was good. I had a good time. It was fun, but it wasn't my favorite. The next book in this series is coming out this week, the 4th of April, so 2 days left. It's called Fearless, and that's the ending of the series. So hopefully the third book is a bit better. It feels like this book is an in-betweenie. so a book to fill up the space between the first and the third book. Hopefully that's not the case, and the third book is even better than the first two, but we'll see. It wasn't my fave, but it was a nice read. And then I fell down a spicy, smutty sports romance hole. I wanted to read this series for quite a long time. It's called the Jacksonville Race series. It's a very nice sporty romance series. It's all contemporary romance. So the first book is That One Night. It's like a novella before the first book. So a 0.5 book, if you can say that. It was nice. The tension between them and the way they saw each other in the book was very cute. I don't say too much because I don't want to spoil books, you know. It was a good novella. It was a bit spicy, but the tension and the chemistry between them was very cute. So I gave it a 3.75 stars. It was cute. It was nice. Not the best. Just nice. Quick. Easy. Well written. That's it. After the first novella in the series, the 0.5 book, I read the first book in the series by Emily Rath, Booking Around. This is about Rachel Price, and she's a doctor and she starts working for an NHL team. This book is a contemporary sports romance. I think the whole series is contemporary sports romances. I liked the book. It was very nice. It was cool to see her working for a team and being her own independent woman and working hard for what she wants. It was very spicy and smutty, and don't get me wrong, I'm a big spicy smut girly, but maybe this was even a little bit too much for me. It's a 3 male, 1 woman kind of romance. It's the first time I've read a romance like this, so that was a bit out of my comfort zone. And it was a bit spicy and the scenes were super detailed, and normally I don't really mind, but maybe it was a bit too much for me. I'm not sure. So I gave it a 4 stars. I enjoyed my time. I read it very quickly. It was very well written, so props to Emily Rath. It was very nice. It was a good sport romance. I love me some hockey romances, so I enjoyed it, but I think it's a 4 star because it was a bit too spicy for me. So please keep this in mind if you want to read the series. It is spicy. It is spicy. And after Booking Around, I straight went into the second book of the series, Bucking Wild. Also contemporary sports romance and by Emily Rath. I gave this a 4.25 stars. It was a little bit better for me because it's a male-woman kind of romance. Tess is in the book. She is a very strong, independent best friend from Rachel. And I always really like when it's interconnected standalones. It is a series. I wouldn't say it's really interconnected standalones. You could read them separately, but it's way nicer to read them back to back. So it's very nice to see how all the first characters from the first book are coming back into the second book and what they experience. Again, this book is spicy. I think the spice scenes are a little bit better than the first book. They're less spicy, still smutty, but less spice than the first book. So I enjoyed it a little bit more. So that's why I gave it a 4.25 stars. And then after 3 spicy hockey romances, I need a bit of another kind of spice. So I went for Wild Side by Elsie Silver. This is the third book in the Rose Hill series. It's about, this is not good if I have to read it back again to see what's her name. Tabitha and Reese. It was a nice book, but it wasn't my favorite in the series. Elsie Silver for me is a very loved writer. I love her way of writing. It's easy. It's quick to go through. It's like back-to-back reading. You can put it down, but it's not the best writing ever, if you ask me. I gave this book 4 stars. It was very nice. I liked it. I liked the way it was built, but some things were a bit strange to me. Like, why would you get together with someone if you hate them? I get it. I get the idea behind it, but forced proximity is not something I get sometimes. So it wasn't my favorite. It was well written. I couldn't put it down. I think I finished it in 3 days. It was very nice. I didn't edit it anything. Only 1 sentence was cute. It was nice. Just a nice, light, funny read. I needed it after all the sports romances. And then I read a book that was on my TBR for a very long time, and that's Funny Story by Emily Henry. This has been on my TBR for a long time. I'm not sure I'm an Emily Henry lover. The last 4 books I've read by her have been hit and miss. Some I liked, some I didn't. But this book was very good and I wasn't expecting it. I think that's why it was on my TBR for so long. I gave Emily Henry a few tries, and I think this was my last try just to see how I experienced it, but I gave it a 4.25 stars. I really liked this book. It was very well written. The story was very funny. It's about a girl and a boy who are both in a relationship, and their boyfriend and girlfriend get together. So they get together. That's very funny to me. It's very well written. I love the character development, especially from him in this book. I would say I would recommend it, but if you're not a big Emily Henry fan, I'm not sure you'll like it. I liked it in the end compared to the other Emily Henrys, but it wasn't my favorite. Do I think about this book a lot? Not really. It's kind of out of my mind. If I have this book in my hand right now, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a nice book. But the story didn't really stay in my head. I would recommend if you like a light, funny, easy read. It is a romance. There's not a lot of spice in here. I think no spice at all. So I would recommend. But yeah, a bit different than normally Emily Henry's. That's why I liked it, but that's why I didn't like the last few books of Emily Henry. So just keep that in mind. After finished story, I went on with the Jacksonville Race series by Emily Rath. I found out that between the first and second book there's novellas as well. So I read novella 1.5, the Picking After Volume 1. I'm not sure what to think about these because they're again very spicy. I love the characters and I think that's why I keep reading, but it's a bit too spicy for me. So I gave it a 3.5 stars. And then I read the Picking Ever After Volume 2, also by Emily Rath, in the same series. And I gave it a 3.75 because it's more about the couple I like more than the first book. It's more about the second couple from the second book. So I really like that, but they're just fine novellas for me. And then afterwards I read the third book in the series, Booking Sweet, and I gave that a 4 stars. I really like that series. It's about 2 males and 1 woman. That's a bit better for me, I think, in terms of spice and detailed smutty scenes. I like the character development of the woman in there. I forgot her name. Ooh, I'm not sure that says enough about the book. I just finished it 3 days ago. What's her name? Poppy. I really like Poppy. She was like a strong woman. She's like in PR and like sassy and working very hard and walking around in her heels and like office outfits, and that just gives me the whole vibe. So I really liked that about the book. I think that's why I gave it a 4 stars. I really liked both of the males, but one of the males, Lucas, was a bit annoying to me sometimes. He was a bit too negative about himself, and at one point I was like, come on man, they show you the love, just accept the love. That's easier said than done, of course, but I found it just a bit annoying. But I really liked it in the end. It was a good read. It was quite quickly. It was well written again. I love to be back in the world. I just love the characters itself. Like the smutty and the spice scenes are a bit much to me, but the characters itself are so nice and they go through so much development. And I really like that about the book. So yeah, the whole series is nice. I think there are 2 more books coming. I'm not sure I will continue the series. I will see when they come out what the story is about and if I want to read it again. What I do really like about the series is it's very diverse and it's very inclusive. So I really like that they show you different scenes within couples and how you can have relationships and on what relationships can be built. So I think the diverse and inclusiveness of these books are very nice. And I really promote this. So that's one of the very positive things about this series. So that have been all the books I have read the last 2 months, in total 12. I'm starting One Dark Window now. I need a bit of a break from all the spicy romances. Again, don't get me wrong, I love them, but I need some dark fantasy vibes. So yeah, I will go to Edinburgh tomorrow with my best friend. So I'll read quite a lot on the plane, I think. So we'll see if I like it. So all the reads of April, you will see in another video. Besides reading a lot of books, I love buying a lot of books. The last few weeks I've accumulated quite a few books. Last weekend I was with my best friend in the city and I went to a store and I still had a voucher, so that was enough for me to buy more books. I bought 6 in total and I cannot wait to read them all. But as you can see, this is my TBR card and it's filled through the back to the bottom. So I have enough books to read, but let's walk through these I bought. I brought Blue Sisters by Coco Mellis. I haven't read anything by her, but my sister is a huge fan of her. She read the Cleopatra and Frankenstein book. And she read this and we both loved them. It's a bit out of my comfort zone. I think it's a woman's fiction, general fiction, literary fiction book. So yeah, it's a bit out of my comfort zone, but I would love to give it a try. And the recommendations have been very high. The reviews have been very good, so I would love to give this a try. The second book I picked up was Story of My Life by Lucy Score. If you know me, I'm a big Lucy Score lover. I love all her books she's written. Her way of writing is very nice. I love that her books are slow burn. I'm a big slow burn lover. I don't really like this cover though, if I'm very honest. Siren coming by. Hopefully everyone is okay. As I was saying, I don't really like this cover, but that's fine. It's a small town romance, and I love me some small town romance. I love me some Lucy Score. I have no idea what this is about, but if she brings out a new book, it's mine. So I cannot wait to read this. I'm thinking about reading this quite quickly because I hear quite a few good things about this book. Then I've bought a book by Kristen Hanna, The Nightingale. This has been on my want to buy list for quite some time. One of my girlies loves everything this woman writes. So yeah, I should just give it a try. A lot of book besties love Kristen Hanna as well. Rachel, Destiny. So I just need to give it a try, you know. I think this is going to be crying at the end. It's quite an emotional general fiction, women's fiction book, I think. I think Kristen Hanna writes a lot of women's fiction. I've never read really women's fiction, I think. So I would love to give this a try and see how I like it. So yeah, that's also a new addition to my TBR cards. One of the things I want to do during 2025 for me in reading is getting out of my comfort zone a little bit more. As you have seen, I've bought a few books out of my comfort zone. I'm a bit of a romance fantasy lover and I don't really dip my toes in other genres, but I really want to do that this year. So one of the things I would love to start doing is reading translated fiction or translated books in general. So I bought Welcome to Wynam Dong bookshop. I'm not sure I pronounced that right. Sorry if I didn't. It's translated by a Korean writer. I've never read anything by this writer. I've never read anything translated before. I almost always read just English fiction. So it's a bit out of my comfort zone, but I love the cover. I mean, it's adorable and it's about a woman who stops her life and starts a bookshop. And if you know me, my dream is to open my own bookshop. So this was my cup of tea. I saw it, I read the back, I loved it, I bought it. Sue me. It's on my TBR. I would love to read this quite soon because it's very intriguing to me. So the back is cute as well. I mean, adorable, just adorable. Also a new lovely addition to my TBR. And then a book my sister loves, my mom loves, and all my book besties, Rachel, Destiny, and Sarah love. I don't know why I haven't bought this book sooner, but now I have it in my hands. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. I think it's a woman's fiction in the 60s. Yeah, and it's about science. That's all I know. I know it's very well written. People cry at the end. People say it's such a good book. I think it won quite a lot of prizes. The global #1 bestseller. So I'm very excited to see how I like this book. Again, bit out of my comfort zone. I've bought quite a few general fictions in the last few months. I will see how I like it. But it's on my TBR. Again, I would love to read it. But yeah, that's with all these books. I would love to read them as soon as possible. But we'll see when I get there. I'm excited for this though, because it feels empowering reading a book about a woman in science who's making it. So, cannot wait about it. And then the last book is a Dutch book. But I still wanted to show you. It's called De Beide Methode by Lotte van Eyck. This book is about self-love and how to love yourself. And the way this book looks from the inside is so attractive to me. Like all the little details and the colors. I'm not sure I'm showing you correctly. Like, oh, the smell of this book is also quite nice. Very strange, but if you know me. It's just, this is the whole vibe, you know. I just love it. It looks amazing. She is such a good, funny, lovable influencer. And when she came out with this book about how to freaking love yourself, I was like, I need this. I think I would love this. It would be good for me, I think. So yeah, I bought the Meide Methode as well. It was a bit expensive if you ask me, but totally worth it, especially if I can support her as well. So excited to give this a try. So yeah, that have been the 12 books I've read and the 6th book I bought. This has been such a fun time catching up with you about books. I love yapping about books. Reading is one of my biggest loves in life. So I'm very excited to share everything with you. I'm excited to see what I read for the next month. What I'm in the mood for. It's spring, so hopefully maybe a little bit of summery romances or a summery fantasy somewhere. I would love to reread ACOTAR. I maybe bought the box set of Throne of Glass. I've already read Throne of Glass, don't you worry about it. But I hadn't have the books physically, so now I bought them. Do I have space on this bookshelf? No, I don't. Is my birthday very soon? Yes, it is. Have I asked for new bookshelves? Maybe. So we'll see. I'm very excited to see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed or liked or give a comment, please do let me know what your favorite book was from the last 2 months or what you're excited to read for the next month. Don't forget that you're loved and you're worth it, and would love to see you in the next video. Bye guys!